Okay, Sarah Mann is next. And she is going to be presenting uh, Can I Borrow a Pencil? I mean a mouse, which is basically well, there's the details. We'll let Sarah get moving.
Thank you, Chris. Basically, rant/therapy session. I'm Sarah Mann. I'm going to be talking about, access and equity that's going on right now in the inner city school district I work in, especially considering that they are planning on opening schools in the fall, even in the midst of COVID. So first of all, a little bit about me is that's my dad, Jeff Mann. You might recognize his Twitter handle as @Mr. Jeff Mann. I am in my 8th year of teaching overall. I taught 4 years of math in PG County, Maryland, and I'll be entering my 4th year teaching math and science in West Philadelphia. And I have earned my master's in education and curriculum and instructional technology. And forgive me, I'm used to talking to 10-year-olds, not adults. So if I have some slip-ups, you'll have to forgive me. And I'm also very excited about the opportunity to share a little bit about my life as a teacher. But I think now that Zoe said it, I'm going to call myself a chaos manager because that's more of a fitting title. So I'm just going to go over these few questions that have been rolling around in my head and probably every other teacher's head with all of this activity that's been going on. Namely, why are schools even considering going back, and what kind of supplies and materials are we going to be needing, especially since most supplies and materials come from the teachers and the parents, not from the district. So why even think about going back to school? The short answer is the digital divide. And if you're not aware what the digital divide is, it is basically the digital haves versus have-nots. So according to the 2019 survey that the school district put out, about 45% of students between 3rd and 5th grade have access to internet at home through a computer, 45%. So this inequity in access to Wi-Fi or even a hard cable in to internet is a significant barrier for students to be able to continue their learning from home. The only reason I'm able to is because the laptop that I'm currently talking to you on was provided to me by the district, and I make enough teacher money to pay for my own internet. So while 45% of students are unable to connect at home, 70% of teachers in the district, according to the same survey, view that technology access is not an issue when at school, and it's not a barrier to student learning in the building. So basically, if the students are at school, like my beautiful babies here, they have far more access to the available materials that they need to be successful by the provision of either the district, the teachers, and in a few small cases, the parents. So basically, teachers and schools act as that bridge in the digital divide. So it's not a concept, a problem of poor and rich. It's, they have money for supplies versus they don't have money for supplies. It's they don't have access money to buy Wi-Fi routers, connect to a monthly subscription, travel to a library that has a hotspot. Some of these kids, they don't have cars, buses stop running. So school is being thought of as this really, really important bridge to even getting kids on a computer online. So moving into the future, the question is, will students be in school or will they be distance learning at home? And the short answer is yes, both. So as far as I understand, based on the recent documents that have come out in the district, we are going to be moving to a hybrid learning model where students are in front of the teacher for 2 days a week, and distance learning at home for 3 days a week. And in some extreme cases, for the very littles, students with severe disabilities, physical or learning, are going to be in face-to-face for all day, all week, full-time face-to-face. So this has so many questions, implications, concerns that have been coming up, because how are we going to continue learning face-to-face while we're mitigating a potentially deadly virus? So all of that is one side of the concern. The other side of the concern is what materials, what supplies are we going to need, and what supplies are going to be provided. So thinking about in-person learning in the upcoming year, it's the same as the previous years, only probably double or triple the amount that we'll need. So thinking about in-person learning, there's a need for every student to have a personal supply of basic supplies. So instead of a class set of 20 whiteboards and 20 scissors and a pencil cup that you pass out and then collect at the end of the day, I'm gonna need personally about 60 individual sets of pencil pouches, pencils, scissors, glue sticks, color pencils, personal pencil sharpeners because they can't be sharing, erasers, tissue pouches because they can't be getting up, walking around, walking to the tissue box. They need their own in their pocket, hand sanitizers, all of the things. So, and that's just basic supplies in the classroom. The other main concern is for the distance learning portion. Laptops were distributed to the students. About a few $1 million was allocated to buy enough Chromebooks for all of the students in the district. But after they have a laptop, do they have Wi-Fi? Do they have headphones? Do they have a place to sit and do their work? Some families of 8 share a 1-bedroom, 1-bathroom apartment, and there is no place to go to listen to the teacher give a talk. So while they're dealing with that, even I here in my house am wishing I had an iPad because I had to write on my notebook paper in front of my screen on how to convert metric units of distance and capacity and all of that. So the difference in materials, what we need at school and what we need at home, is growing. So will the district provide these supplies for us? Probably not, since in the past, most of the supplies that teachers use, they buy themselves. So this is kind of a common knowledge teacher thing. Here we have a government funded classroom versus a teacher funded classroom. If you go into a classroom and you see anything that's in color, a teacher bought it. So in my teaching history, I have fundraised, and some of that fundraising money has gone to colored printer ink so that I could make signs and color-coded worksheets and help. So there's 2 figures on here that I wanted to point out. The first is that the average classroom budget provided to teachers by the district is $212. In my case, it's $100. And then the other figure is that on average, teachers spend $740 a year out of pocket on classroom supplies. And I'm not sure if this is just school-based supplies or all of the other supplies that teachers provide. For example, snacks, water bottles, backpacks, uniform shirts, buses, field trip money, all of those things. So since most of the stuff is provided by us, I want to give you my personal example of living in Philadelphia. So my first year teaching in Philly was 2017 to 18 year, and this is what I walked into. So I had all of my materials that I brought with me from Maryland, most of which were provided by donations from teachers who were retiring, because a paper basket works just as well year after year. That's what the yellow, green, and red thing in the back is. But this was my $100 allotment. I think that this year I bought contact paper, masking tape, a box of tape, like actual like sticky tape to put all my stuff on. And I did buy some shower curtains to hang in the computer closet. So the only thing in this room that was provided by the actual district was my teacher laptop, one student laptop per student. So I have a cart of about 30 desks, chairs, a smart board, and a box of copy paper. So basically in the district, they give you $100, a box of copy paper, and a thumbs up for good luck. So after my first year here, recognizing that this room needed a lot of work, this doesn't represent a space that I would want to live in. And as Zoe was saying, the manager's responsibility is to make sure everyone that's working in that space feels comfortable. So if that's my role, I decided I needed to fundraise. I could spend, and I have spent, $500, $700, $800 of my own money. But I started thinking, there's got to be people that want to help in this situation that aren't aware of it or don't have a way of helping. So over the last 2 years, I have GoFundMe fundraised, and I've raised around $1,500 for my classroom. So this is what it looks like now. Aside from, again, the desk and chairs, which were thankfully upgraded by the district, I have been able to paint the terrible dark prison blue off of my walls. I've been able to get laminating pouches and colored paper and pencil caddies, all of the supplies, tons of pencils, a classroom library, which I have students go, "You teach math, why do you have books?" I said, well, mathematicians know how to read too. Science materials, you know, dirt measuring cups, graduated cylinders, all of those things. Folders, lanyards for hall passes. The school district requires that we have hall passes, but they don't tell us how to make them. So we have to come up with them ourselves. I chose lanyards. But anyways, I could talk about what I don't have for ages, so we'll focus on the positive. This was able to happen because of the generous donations of everybody I've spoken to over the last couple of years saying, you know, don't you think somebody should just be able to get a pencil if they need a pencil? So in addition to all of this, this year, moving into COVID-19 times, these desks won't work like this. I could probably only fit 2 or 3 kids at these desks. They have to be sanitized, Clorox wipes, tissues, hand sanitizer, all of those things. So here's what happened in the distance learning that I had. So my classroom went from like 25 kids per session to about 6 per session. That's that 45%. And I just thought that this meme matched my classroom perfectly, so I went with it. But basically the school district itself was figuring out Chromebook distribution and Wi-Fi hotspots and safety protocols and guidelines. And while they're doing all of that, I'm left thinking, okay, how do I put all of that on top of making sure that I maintain an equitable and accessible learning environment for 10-year-olds in West Philadelphia who may not have access to Wi-Fi, Chromebook, clean clothes, pencils, notebooks, all of that stuff. So with the main concern now being safety and sanitation, the question that keeps popping up in my head is, if the district hasn't previously supplied everything I need to run a classroom, what's going to change now? How are they going to provide it now? What is going to be the catalyst that makes them go, oh, in addition to these hand sanitizers, maybe we need to throw them some expo markers? So if they do provide all of it, the next question is that going to be enough? So either way, if I'm going to be in the classroom, I'm not going to be taking any chances. So my students deserve a clean, safe learning environment with everything that they need at their fingertips in order to be successful. So I'm buying it. I am buying the Clorox wipes. I am hoarding the hand sanitizer. I scooped it all in my classroom last year before I left. And of course, all the other random bunch of stuff that students need throughout the day. They go through a lot of granola bars. Anyways, so this is why I fundraise. This is why I reach out to communities that have a strong belief in educating the next generation, those kids that are gonna enjoy math, enjoy technology, want to get their hands in something in science. And this is also where you can be a big help. I know that one of the reasons my GoFundMe's have been so successful in the past is because of this community, which is why I was invited to speak here. Chris tweeted out my response, my GoFundMe, and about 30 minutes later, a very generous donor donated $350, capped off my whole GoFundMe, and I was set for the school year. So that's my story. That's my mindset going into this whole wild year that's about to happen. And I'd be happy to answer any questions anybody has now. Oh, wait. I will also be sending out my Amazon wish list just in case anybody feels particularly generous. In addition, I have 3 other wish lists from 3 other teachers in my school building, because if they're not giving it to me, they're not giving it to them either. So I have Miss F is a 2nd grade teacher, Miss Piper and Miss Hong are both 1st grade teachers, and I'll be sending this out in case anybody feels like checking them out. And then are there any questions?
I'm not hearing any questions. I really appreciate you coming out, Sarah.
Yeah, thanks for having me. I really appreciate the opportunity.
I think that it's kind of eye-opening, you know, here in British Columbia, Canada. I think the schools are a little better funded, not amazing or world-class, but better. And I think as we have people watching from around the world, they're probably used to teachers not needing to buy supplies for the classroom.
Yep.
So definitely, you're definitely welcome to tag me when you're doing fundraising, and I'll do my best to share it. And
Wonderful. So I'll be sending out that that slide deck. I just put it in the chat, and I'll also be tweeting it out. The farther it spreads, the more well-deserving kids get some books. So thank you guys.
big round of applause for Sarah. Thank you for your dedication to the students.